Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Coach Red, where we bring you all the news, stories, takes, and opinions about your favorite teams from the Pacific North. Fresh from the good to the bad to the Mariners.
The sweet, sweet Mariners.
Sweet Mariners are right, coming off a pretty hot streak against the dog shit A's and the coming back to Earth Pirates.
Yeah, the Pirates are still playing pretty well, though. Not gonna lie.
Not so much recently, but they had one good game.
It's true. Um, but continue.
What's up?
I said continue.
Oh, I thought you were going to start talking about shit I didn't want to talk about, like the Yankees. So
No.
hard pass. Hard pass. Um, Typically, we would do a breakdown episode for the week prior, but we are not going to do this week, just a single episode week. And we've got some all stars on the mind. The all-star game is under 40 days away now. So we're getting closer to time. So we're going to take a look at some of the best and brightest Mariners and let you know their chance of making the all-star team. But before we do that, if you're looking for a guy that almost did this episode without a shirt completely, almost went full Burt Kreischer, but I just didn't like the aesthetics of it. It's weird.
You
I
can't
thought
handle.
about it, saw it on camera, just was like, this isn't. We'll just go with the bro tank. If you're looking
You,
for a guy like that, you'd be looking for a guy like me, your boy, Coach Red. You can find me on Twitter at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red. Also, hop on over to YouTube, search Kicking It with Coach Red, like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, leave a comment or two. And while you're at it, go ahead and follow the podcast page on Twitter and Insta at Coach Red Pod. Follow us, follow us, follow us. Do it, do it, do it.
you could hold a flame to the machine.
Yeah, no, Lefty kills the follow us, do it, freaking do it. I know that I don't hold a flame. It's one of my weak points. I'm working on it. Leave me alone. Okay. If you're looking for someone that is currently wearing a Mariners hat but a shirt about Boston, he's a little confused over there. You're looking for a guy like Cain.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Kane2406, YouTube at Kane06, TikTok and Twitch, Kane0624. And side note, you gave me this shirt.
It was gifted to me. That's called I think I just gave it to you. I didn't even gift it to you. It was here you go.
Yep.
It's
This
all
is when you
yours.
gave me all of your chive stuff.
You're welcome. All right. So, the way we're going to do this, we're going to look at a variety of players. I didn't even count how many we had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 11 players, looks like. And we're going to start from position players, work our way to the pitchers, but we're going to go in order from lowest to highest of the position they typically play. So, if you aren't the biggest baseball person, position 1 is the pitcher, but we're not starting with them. Position 2 is the catcher. Position 3, first base. Second base is 4. 5 is third base. 6 is shortstop. 7 is left field. 8 is center. And 9 is right. So there's going to be a test at the end. Make sure you remember. So we're going to start off with the player in the 2 hole, and that is catcher Cal Raleigh. And before Cain goes into full stat mode, since he is a full on MLB fanatic, where I am just a Mariners fanatic, he's going to be taking a little bit of the reins. So don't screw it up.
I'll try. I'll
Okay,
try.
so Cal Raleigh's competition, as I see it, at the catcher position to make the All Star game is Jonah Heim from the Rangers, Salvador Perez from the Royals, and Adley Rushman from the Baltimore Orioles. Kane,
Okay. There
Oh,
are
I forgot one thing. The scale that we have. They're either a lock to make the team, they have a great chance to make the team, they have a good chance to make the team, there's still work to do, or no shot in hell. Okay, go back to Cal Raleigh.
okay. So do I rate him and then do my picks?
Well, I mean, you're not necessarily picking the whole All Star team. You just need to say why he's got a shot, why he might
I
not have a shot. It's up to you. It's free reign.
he's working on it, but needs more time, but also kind of no shot in hell because Jonah Heim is having a phenomenal year, especially this being from the switch hitting side as well. He hits better lefty righty than Cal does. And Adley Rushman, it, just his name alone, he was the number one prospect in all of baseball and really showed out last year and his elite defense behind behind the plate. So I don't think Cal makes it this year.
So work to do, no shot, hell, good, great,
I
lock.
it's between
Just pick one.
all right,
There's five
to
options.
work to do.
Okay, perfect. That's exactly where I was thinking. Like you had stated, Jonah Hines' numbers are the best of the group, and he's been building a little bit of steam as the years have gone along. I think with Salvador Perez, he's the most accomplished name on that list and could be the potential only person coming out of the Royals. So, and then Adley Rushman, you have that hype train. And the other thing is Cal Raleigh's numbers might not be all the way there. His power numbers are good and his RBI numbers are good, but his batting average is lacking behind. So I think that if he can raise the average and go on a tour to homers, that he could improve his stake.
Yeah.
But as we sit here today, I believe he still has work to do.
If he, yeah, like you said with the batting average, if he got it just 0.18 or 18 points higher, 250, a couple more home runs, I think he'd be in the conversation.
Yep.
But right now, no.
All right. The next position group is we have first base with our boy Ty France, and here is his competition. You want me to start with the biggest name first?
It's probably Vlad.
Yep, Vlad Jr. And then I also have Anthony Rizzo, Yandy Diaz, and Nathaniel Lowe.
Okay, there's no shot in hell Ty France makes the All-Star team. There's just no way. All of the other people you named make it before he does.
He's an all-star last year.
Yeah, he was a fringe all-star.
Well, it was a late ad.
Exactly. But Rizzo is also hurt, so that hurts his chances. But Nathaniel Lowe, Texas is one of the best teams in the league right now. They're hot as can be. Vladdy, name alone, he does the job day in, day out. Big power guy. I just you have guys hitting way better than Ty France does.
Yeah, I've got no shot for Ty as well. Yandy Diaz is leading in all the statistical categories. The dude's
Yeah.
just smashing the ball for the Rays right now.
Yeah.
Rizzo's hitting the ball out of ballpark. Low for me, he really started coming on at the tail end of last year, just hasn't slowed down.
Yes.
I think the thing that is working against Ty getting a repeat bid is because last year coming into this, batting average was at or above 300 and the power numbers were a little bit higher than they've been this year. He
Right.
did hit a little bit of a power surge recently, but I think the work that's been done by the guys that he's in competition with, I think make it a little bit too tough of a hill to climb.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Next, we're going to third base, and that is boy Good Vibes Only, Eugenio Suarez. I don't have the biggest list here, but it's a pretty impactful list. I got Jose Ramirez, Alex Bregman, and Rafael Devers.
No shot in hell. No shot in hell. J Ram, perennial MVP candidate. It's hard for him to ever win it because Shohei and Judge. But you have him, Rafi, who just puts up crazy numbers for Boston.
Perennial MVP candidate.
Yeah. Um, and Bregman, I mean, how many World Series has he won? Two, three, too many. And dude just is one of the most solid third basemen in the American League. So there's no shot in hell Gino makes it.
I've got work to do here. And the reason I say that is it depends on if you're bringing three guys or not. I think that Bregman's numbers right now, although he has the name, he's a little bit ahead of Gino in the home runs, but they're right there in the average game. And Gino's is pumping in some RBIs this year. And Gino, especially last year, was kind of fringy for me, but Bregman was having a bigger year. It's just tough when you have such a stacked lineup that he's going against at the third base position. I think that if Bregman sucks leading up to this next couple of weeks, there could be a shot if Gino gets a little hotter to sneak his way in. But I think there's work to do.
I just the power
I
numbers
also
aren't
just
there for
don't
me
like
this year.
Alex Bregman at all by how
I don't
pompous he
either.
is about launch angles and how flippant he was about the cheating. The dude just, I don't like the cut of his jib, if you will.
I'm right there with you, but the power numbers just aren't there for me with Gino. I mean, when he does hit the ball, it's hard. But last year he was on pace for 35 on the year, and right now it's not looking so hot.
True
So
that. All right, next player we've got is JP Crawford. And the players he is going up against are Bo Bichette, Wander Franco, and Jeremy Pena, in my mind.
there's work to do with JP. I think um how his play for the remainder of the time being in the leadoff spot goes and fielding, of course. But
I don't think that in the All Star game that let's get the
well,
top fielders out
right.
here.
But I think he needs to bump his average up a little bit, and he needs to think maybe hit like 4 or 5 more home runs. I, he doesn't make it over Wander, but Bo is also there, but you could also have a third guy. I think he could beat Jeremy Pena, but there's just work to do.
I've got it as a good shot because if they are going to bring three shortstops, I think that he has the edge right now on Pena. Pena's got a few more homers, but JP's beating him in all the other statistical categories. And that's always JP's lacking spot is the power numbers. But he has had some electric moments. The defense has been above average for the year because you just want to talk about defense in all-star games. Let's just make this a thing now. But
And it happens though.
I know. But Bochet and Wander Franco, I think, are locks. And if they
Yes.
do carry three, I think JP has an inside track with it being in Seattle, the moments that he's put in front of the home crowd this year, I think will play a little bit. He's seen as a leader of this team, so I think he might get in on like the player vote because I think people respect what he does. And with the lackluster play or inconsistent play of some of the bigger contracts that are in the American League right now. Carlos Correa's not doing so hot right now. Javi Baez will swing at a pitch that is in the other dugout, and
Yeah.
Trevor Story is banged up. all the time. I think that JP has a shot and a good shot to potentially sneak in.
And as of right now, I mean, okay, you know what? I will sit there and I will agree with you for the sole fact that Corey Seager is injured right now.
Yeah, if he comes back and starts doing some stuff, it's going to become a lot tougher.
Yeah, because because running through the list of American League shortstops in
I
my
was
head right
just
now,
going off of the top statistical guys
that's
that
fair.
qualified for enough games.
That's fair. But going through all the American League team shortstops after you rattled off a few, I was like, you know what? It's a good thing Corey Seager's not there because Corey Seager is amazing. So
Oh, you mean
he
Kyle? You mean
is.
Kyle's brother?
Yeah, he's
Oh,
really good. But nah, I think he has a good shot as of right now. I will back you on that one.
all right. Now we're going to the outfield. I'm gonna name. We're gonna talk about Jared Kelnick first. I'm gonna give you all the competition, and then we'll just go into the Julia since they're both outfielders. So, competition in the outfield: Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Jordan Alvarez, who can be classified there, or DH, Randy Arozarena, Kyle Tucker, and Austin Hayes are the top contenders I have at the position.
And most likely Jordan will be at the DH. It just depends on what they list Shohei as. Kyle Tucker depends on his numbers. Hayes
Also
has
put him in
been
because he's been an all-star already too.
right.
Hayes is the top statistical guy.
I think with Jared Kelnick, I think this is a lock.
Shock of the century here, folks.
I think this is a lock. He's putting up a fantastic season. I mean, man, 10 home runs, 283 average, 7 stolen bases. I mean, the dude has been on fire all year. It seems like he just gets a hit every single game. And the dude has just been fantastic. I think it's a lock.
I've got him as a lock as well because every team gets one, and he's been the best player on the Mariners so far. I think it's tough because you have year in, year out locks when they're healthy, and Mike Trout and Aaron Judge. So it limits you a little bit. But this is a big story around MLB too. The bounce back of Jared Kelnick because he was the prize prospect, and there has been buzz around him, and it seems like he's finally living up to the bill that was written for him. And it's something that we love to see day in, day out. And it would be fun to watch him dazzle in the All Star game. I will put this caveat in. There's if he gets offered, there is a 0% chance he should take an invitation to the home run derby. He have worked on his swing so much this offseason. Do not do the home run derby. Jared,
No,
if you're listening, don't do it.
please don't. Please don't. This is J Rod's show, and you're not going to ruin it.
No, just don't screw up your swing for a
Yeah.
while, please. You've worked so hard.
Well, also don't take J Rod. Like,
Oh, speaking of J Rod, he's the next player. We already told you the people he's going up against. Where do you have him slotted in on the list?
what was your second option?
There's lock, great, good, work to do, or no shot.
You know, I thought before that he was going to be a lock, but I think he's got a great shot to make it. Just because, he did have that bad month and he was fully healthy, just really bad month. And I think that halted him a little bit, but in recent, like 2 weeks, he's had a lot better plate approach. It's turning around for him as long as he kind of keeps doing what he's doing, not to the same volume, but just consistency. If he can do that, I think he's got a great shot to make the All-Star team.
Well, you had him as a lock and downgraded him to great. I had him at great, and I'm upgrading him to a lock. How about that? Turn the tables on you. The reason I say that he's a lock to make the team is because he has turned it around recently. The power numbers have been there. The RBIs are there, especially with him now hitting in the 3 hole. He's going to have more RBI opportunities with this Mariners team. With the likes of JP and Ty France in front of him, it's going to be more guys that are consistently on base comparative to, I'm going to say the name, but I don't want to, Jose Caballero. But then the guys that hit, in front of Caballero, the AJ Pollocks, Tom Murphys, Colton Wongs, all those guys have been inconsistent at getting on the base paths, which are limiting RBI opportunities for Julio. But he's a young face of this game. He's part of the next wave, the next generation. He has visibility in multiple markets. You're going to see when he hits these tank job home runs, when players and fans are voting, they know who Julio Rodriguez is. And they know what he did last year and beating out Adley Rushman. I think that he gets in now on the initial selection, won't even have to go to the fan vote tie break, whatever they do now. And yes, Julio should participate in the home run derby.
Yes.
I think he's going to participate regardless if he makes it or not, because sometimes they bring in those guys that don't make the All-Star game to participate in the home run derby. So I
every
think
single year.
A lock for
Okay.
the team and the home run derby.
I think so. Okay. I'll get you with that.
Take a stand on your great train.
Hey, you're the one that told me that we either agree or disagree with each other. And you know what? Your explanation swayed me. All right. You moved my heart. I even shed a tear. I was so moved.
It's a little much. I know I have the gift of gab, but chill out. Okay. Let's go to the starting pitching. We're going to start with the most recent MLB debuts of a couple of starters we're looking at, and then we'll expand upon it as we go along. First guy is Bryce Miller.
There's just no shot. I don't think he ever has a chance, dude. Not right now, at least. Just not this year.
Okay. That was quick and to the point. I didn't even tell you who the competition for the starting pitchers are.
You don't
Sonny
have to.
Gray, Shane McClanahan, Eduardo Rodriguez from the Detroit Tigers might be their only participant. Joe Ryan, Framber Valdez, Nathan Eovaldi, Shohei Ohtani, Garrett Cole, Kevin Gossman. Does that change no shot for you?
No. Also, the Tigers are second in the division, so they might have a couple more.
That's great. That division sucks.
I know it does, but they're in second place.
That's great. That's like saying, hey,
and they're gonna have
look at this turd. It's the second best turd here. You still want this turd? No, I do not want the turd.
Right. But no, he has no shot.
Okay. I say that he has work to do. The last outing against the Yankees was a big hiccup, but before that, what he was doing was at an historic pace. So, why did I say and? That was stupid. A historic pace. With his swing and miss ability on his fastball, I think that guys are gearing up for it more and kind of being able to judge movement. So he's going to have to make those adjustments. If he can get back on track with a couple of good starts, I know that he came to the game late, but if he dazzles and goes 7 or 8 scoreless in the next couple, I mean, you're looking at a guy who across 5 or 6, 7 different starts has given up 1 run or less. And I think that if he can taper that down, he's going to be close to 1 to 2 runs an outing, which is pretty good numbers for a starting pitcher. So I'm not closing the book on him yet, but it's not looking promising. All right. The next player we have is George Kirby.
George Kirby. I don't think he does. I think there's no shot.
I don't think there's a shot either. His strikeout numbers aren't as high as they were last year.
Uh-huh.
Is the hits that he is giving up per game is higher, but I would say overall, I think that his ERA is down. You know, he's been looking pretty darn solid recently. Had a hiccup in the Pirates game, but giving up a few runs, going deeper into games. But I don't think the overall metrics are going to be able to get him into the conversation this year. I still think that he is a dark horse Cy Young candidate, but I don't think with what he's done, the numbers are going to pop enough for him to make the squad.
I agree.
All right. The next pitcher we have is Logan Gilbert.
I don't think Logan has a chance either. Um, his ERA is high. He's only 3-2. I don't think he has a shot.
I don't buy into wins anymore. I've gone off the win train.
He's almost sitting at a 4 ERA as well.
That's true. The reason I include him on this list is because his strikeout numbers are a lot higher. He
He
is
does
pitching,
have 69. Nice.
but especially recently, he had a perfect game going through six. As recently as a couple weeks ago, has a couple of really good outings with high strikeouts, but it hasn't been consistent game in, game out. So I also agree with you that I don't think that he makes it. All right, the next starting pitcher we have is Luis Castillo.
There's a good shot. Luis Castillo makes it. There's a good shot. I mean, he's sitting at a 2.69 ERA, 76 strikeouts. I think there's a good shot he makes it.
I'm going to say it. There's a great shot that he makes it
Ooh.
because he was the big name traded at the deadline. He performed very well down the stretch, pitched very well in the playoffs. So when you look at that, starts the year off really hot, has a couple of rocky starts, one really bad start, and a couple other ones that the numbers didn't skew him down too much. He's had a couple in the last week, has had two extremely good starts, went 6 innings on Saturday at the game I was at and gave up one hit, 9, 10 Ks in that game, I believe, and did a similar outing against the A's earlier in the week. So he seems to be back on track. Fastball's clipped up. I think that having a pitcher from the home team, especially a team that was in the playoffs last year, the ace of the staff, who's living up to the billing once again, I think that
Yes.
he has a great shot to make it.
Sway me again. Just swayed me again. I'll take it. That's after looking at his numbers, yeah, I do think he has a great shot to get in. I mean, he just produces, man.
Okay, now we're going to go to relief pitcher Paul Sewald, as you would say, but it's pronounced Sewald. Um, His competition is Manuel Clase, whose lead. His numbers don't look great, but he's leading the American League in saves. You have Felix Bautista, Carlos Estevez from the Angels, Kenley Jansen, and Ryan Presley are the main
Uh,
competition.
you also have Yenier Cano from Baltimore. He also went
But
like,
Felix Bautista, but here's the thing:
yeah,
when you're coming to relievers, especially as you've seen the All Star game evolve, except when you had what the hell's his name? The kid from Houston that used to be their multi-inning guy. He made the All-Star game as a relief pitcher, but wasn't their closer. It's not Ryan Presley. It's not Joe Smith. Er, 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 er.
trying to think. I'm trying to think.
wasn't Bud Norris, but it was in the same time as when Bud Norris was in their bullpen. But
I don't
the
know.
point I'm trying to make is that relievers, unless they're getting save numbers, don't typically get into the All-Star game. So I geared it around
Right.
guys that have higher save numbers.
But he also went 29 innings without allowing a run or a hit. Something
Or
like
a
that.
hit. Maybe a run.
So
There's no way he went 21 innings without giving up a hit.
he had a nasty stretch of something. Like the dude was
Do you go to the doctor? You get
he
checked?
was like reliever of the month last month.
Okay. Throw him in there.
Yeah.
What does that make you think about Paul Sewell?
I just there's no shot. There's no shot. He's let me push up my glasses. He's got a 3 ERA, and as a closer, 11 saves, but as a closer, I don't think a 3 ERA is the greatest to have.
I believe that he is 11 for 11 in save opportunities. The games where he's given up runs have been non-save opportunities, usually coming in when the pressure's not on. When the pressure's ratcheted up, he is right there. I think he's tied for sixth with saves, but his underlying numbers are a lot better than, say, Emmanuel Clases, who is leading with 17 saves, but he also has a 1-4 record and a -1 WAR. Um, you've got Paul Sewald clocking in at a 0.6. I think that this year is a down year for relievers when it comes to those numbers. So I think that there is a shot. So I would say that there is a good chance that he could slide in there because hometown guy, he's got good numbers. His K rate is one of the better ones out there. So if you're looking at the underlying numbers and not just ERA, because here's another thing, ERA doesn't mean anything either. It's all about whips and chains and man, some of these things are going right over your head today. Whip,
I know what
Ks per nine, chains aren't a thing.
I know the closer to 1,000 you are with your whip, the better it is. You sit at a 900.
That's good.
Well, I don't know, man. I think the competition's too stiff.
This is like the weakest competition group out
Well,
of the bunch that we brought up.
You're probably also throwing Chapman in there. Like,
No, not.
I don't know.
Salvi Perez is going for the Royals, not Chapman.
I don't know. We'll see when it gets closer.
I guess we will see. And I guess you guys will see what we have to say. If you follow us on social media, you follow me, your boy Coach Red, over on Twitter at The Real Coach Red, on Instagram at _Coach Red. Also, find us on YouTube, Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a comment or two. Also, follow the podcast page at Coach Red Pod on Twitter and Insta. Hey, follow us. Do it, freaking do it. Cain, where you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Kane2406, YouTube at Kane06, TikTok and Twitch, Kane0624.
Hey, and as always, stay fresh.
Stay fresh, peeps.
Peace.